The May 12th, 2020 meeting of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners, is called to order. Was I too early?
Yeah, it's not quite live.
Okay.
I'll signal you with my hand.
Okay, you're sort of in side lit over there.
I'll signal you with my hand. Oh,
Okay. You're sort of in side lit over there.
there you go.
Ready? The May 12th, 2020 meeting of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners is called to order. The first item of business is the approval of minutes from April 21st of 2020.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion to approve the minutes from April 21st, 2020 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the invoice, the minutes of the April 21st, 2020 meeting as presented. Jessica, is Jessica here or Denise calling the roll? Oh, there you are, Jess. I see you. Okay, Jessica, call the roll.
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
thank you. The next item of business is approval of invoices from checks dates April 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2020.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens?
make a motion to approve invoices for check date run April 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2020, totaling $311,979.45. We had some significant invoices. First, from inland waters pollution of $15,119.70. Richmond Power and Light, $68,426.25. Sergeant's Equipment and Repair, $12,710.63. West Tech Engineering Incorporated, $10,463. Advantage Ford Lincoln, $31,606.12. And Harvest Land Co-op Incorporated, $38,250.86.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve invoices from check date April 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2020, totaling $311,979.45. Jess, are there any other questions or comments? If not, Jess, please call the roll.
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
thank you. The next item of business was the director's report. Is Brian here? We have no one to report anything in the director's position.
Sue, I was made the interim director.
Okay,
His last day was last Friday. So I don't really have a report. I will say that budgets are getting ready to kick off for 2021. I hope to have more information on that by the next meeting, but try to hold down the fort until regular director is selected.
okay.
Is the trash pickup beginning just underway, or the neighborhood pickup?
I'll have to check. I'm not sure where all that's at right now.
Okay, thank you, Pat. And if there's anything that we can do to help, just let us know. And I think that we're in good hands in the interim.
Thank you.
The next item of business is the recommendation to reject quotes for the digester lid painting and spot repair.
Yes, Madam President and board members, it is my recommendation to reject both quotes for the digester lid painting and spot repair that were received at our last board meeting on April 21st, 2020.
Do we need to have any reason for rejection? Walt? No? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion to reject both quotes for the digester lid painting and spot repair that were received at the last board meeting on April 21st, 2020.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to reject both quotes for the digester lid painting and spot repair received at the board meeting on April 21st, 2020. Any further questions or comments? If not, we will call the roll. Jess, please.
Amon.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The next item of business is a recommendation to award bids for the recycling truck.
Yes, Madam President, board members, at our April 21st board meeting, we received bids for the Richmond Sanitary District on the purchase of a new split body recycling truck. After reviewing the bids, it is our recommendation to the board to award this to this recycling truck to Municipal Equipment, Inc. of Louisville, Kentucky, at the cost of $227,617.23. The recycling truck is a GS product body, and it's a 2021 International HB 607 SBA chassis. Municipal Equipment is the lowest and most responsive and responsible company to bid this truck. And I do have bid tabs attached.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments or a motion?
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens?
make a motion to approve the purchase of a new split body recycling truck to Municipal Equipment for a price not to exceed $227,617.23.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second to award the purchase of a new split body recycling truck to Municipal Equipment, Inc. of Louisville, Kentucky at a cost of $227,617.23. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor, or no, we need to call the roll. Will you call the roll, please?
Amon.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve outbound scale replacement at the landfill.
Yes, Madam President and board members. We sent out requests for quotes for a new outbound scale at the landfill at the scale house, similar to what we have that we put in last year. This RFQ was sent out April the 8th and it was returned to us April 17th. I did speak with Kara Messler. She reviewed the RFQ and agreed that it was sent out correctly. Things kind of changed with this, with everybody being not in the office at all times. So that's why I sent it out myself. Excuse me. We sent out 2 requests and both vendors did respond. After reviewing the quote, Darren Duncan, myself, which Darren Duncan, landfill manager, Brian Irvin, and myself, it is our recommendation to the board to award this scale replacement to Breck Bueller Scale of Clayton, Ohio, in the amount of $82,482. Breck Bueller was the lowest and most responsible and responsive company to quote this replacement project. And like I said, Breck Bueller was the company that replaced the scale last year for us. And I do have the bid tabs attached for that one also.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Was it this year close to the price for last year?
Actually, I believe it was just a little bit cheaper. I'm pretty sure. I think last year we almost 85. It came in a little bit less than because we had.
Okay. Close. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. I think you sort of freeze every now and then.
Did you hear me?
You said it was close to what it was the last
It was
time,
close,
about
yeah.
85.
It says my internet connection's not real. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Do I have any other questions or comments or entertain a motion?
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion for recommendation to award the scale replacement to Breck Bueller Scales of Clayton, Ohio in the amount of $82,482.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to award the scale replacement to Breck Bueller Scales of Clayton, Ohio in the amount of $82,482. Any other questions or comments? If not, Jessica, would you please call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
thank you.
Thank
The
you.
next item of business was the recommendation to approve change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant improvement project phase 1.
Yes, Madam President and Board, this is the second change order for our wastewater treatment plant project, and it covers 3 different items. The first item is actually a request that we made to them, and it was to get pricing to change from Emerson Bristol control wave micro RTUs to Allen Bradley compact Logics PLCs, and these are basically all the like mini computers that are throughout the plant that send data back and forth to our main SCADA system, and it helps us control all the different components in the plant. So it can it receives signals and can turn pumps on and off, and so it's all part of our SCADA system. But there had been some real early talk in the design process, and at the time we had decided to stick with what we had. But as we started looking at making some other upgrades and looking at actually being able to find somebody to service these, the Allen Bradley gives us more options, and we felt like the long-term cost of going to Allen Bradley was cheaper, which is why we requested some pricing from the contractor to actually switch over to the units that we were going to install as part of the project to Allen Bradley versus the control wave units. So the cost to do that is $38,750, and so we felt like it was it made sense financially to go forward with that in the long run. We're also looking at some of the, we struggled getting some of the SCADA upgrades completed with our current contract that we have with the provider that we currently have, I guess, Hearst. And so what we're doing is also asking for some pricing to make some of those upgrades now. That way we don't have 2 different people in there as well, trying to do the plant upgrades and all the SCADA work associated with that, along with some of these other SCADA upgrades. So we'll be coming back later as we finish evaluating some of those things. We've kind of been in negotiations back and forth with the contractor on that. The other 2 items on this change order is one that deals with some lead paint that we had found. So we had done some testing ahead of time, but found out here during the project that there's some, even though we had found only small amounts of lead, there's still some guidelines that have to be followed as far as how it has to be handled during construction. So there's a $17,533 increase for some of that. And then one good thing that we had found is as we drain each of the final clarifiers, we are doing an evaluation of the concrete and the grout that's in the bottom of those clarifiers to determine whether or not it needs replaced. So we have pricing in the contract to replace that if needed. But we found after draining the first one here that there was only about a 2-foot square area that had any slight problem at all. And the structural engineer had said we would probably cause more damage trying to fix that small area than trying to replace it. So what the recommendation was to leave it all as is, which means we have a $40,000 savings because we're not going to do that. So the hope is that that will carry through for the next 3 clarifiers as well. But we'll see. We'll evaluate them all. But the good news is that the first one showed it was in good shape. So we anticipate hopefully that the rest of them will be too. So the net increase on this change order is $16,283. And no additional time or days will be added to the contract for this. So the total contract price with all approved change orders, including this one, would be $13,958,282.
Thank you. So the $40,000 change, you had built in $40,000 per clarifier?
Correct. Yes. So there's a total of $160,000 that we hope, we won't have to use. And we'll know for sure as we take each one down, but it was just something that we weren't able to actually see the bottom of that prior to doing this work. So we built that in there and asked them for pricing during the bidding in case we did need to replace it. But thankfully, at least on the first one, we don't have to.
Okay. We'll hope there's more good news to come.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, or I will
I have
entertain
a
a
question.
motion?
Sue, I have a question.
Okay, yes.
The change order that I have, that only has 2 items on it. It doesn't have the $40,000 credit on it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it. I sent this out. The original one didn't because we were still, I guess, kind of negotiating on the 40,000. They felt like there was a component that they were still due, but we worked through that. And I think a few hours after the original got sent out, we were able to confirm that. So I had resent it. So yeah, there should just be an additional line for item number 2 in the contract that deletes one each of the final clarifier concrete topping removal and replacement for a deduct of $40,000.
Yeah, I received Elijah, your email, Elijah. It was.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention
not
that earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, I did receive it. Okay. Amon, did you receive it? Do you have the numbers for the, or just want to say you approve the change order number 2, whichever way you want. I will entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steen?
make a motion to approve change order number 2 with Kokosi Industrial Incorporated, concerning wastewater treatment plant phase 1 improvements project. Total amount of change order number 2, $16,283 for a new contract price of $13,958,282.
I second.
Thank you. There's been a motion second. Any further questions or comments? If not, the motion is to approve change order number 2 with Kokosi Industrial Inc. Project for the William E. Ross Wastewater Treatment Plant Phase 1 improvement projects. The net change is $16,283 for a contract price with the above all change orders, $13,958,282. Any further questions or comments? If not, Beth, will you read the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The next item of business is a discussion of the Alum class action lawsuit settlement update.
Yes, I just wanted to give an update to the board. I forgot to last time with some of the delay we had in canceling that the last meeting and in March there. So we had received word back. If you recall, it's been a year and a half probably. We submitted a bunch of information for a class action lawsuit that had been filed against a chemical provider that we had bought from back, I mean, for quite a few years in the 90s and early 2000s. And they were found guilty of some collusion and price fixing. So we submitted a bunch of information. We went through and found a bunch of financial records and submitted that in hopes that we might be able to recoup some of that settlement. And so over the period of time since then, there's been, I think, 2 other settlements that have been made, and we're I guess in the running for some of those funds as well. We haven't heard anything back on those, but on the first one we submitted, we received a check for a little over $42,000 back. So I'm extremely pleased, I guess, that it was that much. I was always fearful that, you know, the time and effort we put into doing it may not, you know, pay for itself, but it definitely did, and especially with the hopes of potentially some more funds that we might get. But some good news on that front, that we've been able to recoup some of those settlement funds. So just wanted to give you an update on that and let you know what we had received.
Any other questions? That takes us into the project status update.
Yes, Madam President, Board. First project on the list with some change. Actually, I'm going to talk just a little bit about project number 1, our Northwest 13th Street Interceptor project. We have been working for some final submittals for the siphon that will be bored underneath the river just north of our treatment plant. So we're anticipating in the next month or so that they'll get in and actually begin that work, but we're finalizing those final submittals, including a profile and things like that for that project, which that is really the last piece of things. They did get in. I think they're starting some restoration in a few areas that they still have to do that they couldn't do over the winter. So that project, hopefully here before too long, will get finished up. So not a whole lot of actual movement on it, but coming soon there will be. So project 2 is our CS06 storage project. The contractor's been in and laying some base asphalt and beginning to do some restoration in that area. There are a few utilities, the water company and the gas company both have work to do out there as well. But we're coordinating with them, and our contractor's been hard at it, getting some of that asphalt laid to clean the area up. And then they've hired a subcontractor, Milestone Contracting, that's going to do the final surface work. So that's in the process of being scheduled. I know we were pretty high up on the list to be able to get that done. So the next project's our treatment plant project, and that's been very busy. They've basically gutted the first final clarifier that they took down, and as we talked earlier, found that the concrete in the bottom was in good shape. They've also started digging and putting some piles in for the aeration splitter vault, which is the main excavation that's happening as part of the project. So that's begun, and they've started working on a lot of the fiber and electric and telephone relocation. The electrical contractor's been working on that for that excavation for that splitter vault. So things have been moving and have been ramping up the number of people that they've had there on site. Next project is our thickening project. The punch list items are being worked on now, and hopefully by the end of the month or so, all that will be wrapped up and taken care of. There's a little bit of coordination that has to go on with the wastewater treatment plant contractor, as they are both working in one of the small buildings. So, but that shouldn't be a huge deal to be able to accomplish. We've been working with both of them to be able to do that. The next project is our College Avenue sewer separation project. And talked a little bit about last time that some of the investigation that we were working on to try to get that project done before some paving this summer on College Avenue had kind of been put on hold because of not being able to get into some of these homes and see the basements and do the investigation. So we have went ahead and done some potholing outside on the laterals. What we ultimately needed to find was some elevations for these laterals so we could decide how deep this sewer needed to be. It's a pretty challenging area, and I think we've figured out why they didn't do it previously. So we've struggled to find a good solution. And so hopefully as we get this elevation data, which we've got some of it here, they've been working on it the past couple days. And so we'll continue to analyze that and hopefully get all we need without having to get back in anyone's home there. So next projects, our West Side Interceptor project. We did file for SRF funds. We submitted an application for this project. As we talked last time at our board meeting, this was not the intent, but as the opportunity for some potential stimulus funding came up, we decided to submit that application as we talked last time. So we did get that submitted by May 1st. We'll see what turns up of that, what we're able to get, and we can make that call of if we want to proceed with it or not. But the May 1st was the deadline for some extra points. We got 10 extra points on our application if we submitted by that time, which should put us higher on that project priority list when it comes out. So I appreciate everybody's effort in getting that accomplished. Hopefully it turns out to be worth our while financially for that. So next projects are Henley Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Project. This is one where we've had a contribution. It's a potential contribution project, as we talked in the past. I was able to speak with the health department, and as you know, they've been extremely busy with everything else that's been going on. So we're waiting on some word from them, but we have been in contact with some of those homeowners out there and kind of giving them updates on that. So, and then our last, I think I've got two more things here. Hayes Lift Station project. We went ahead and renewed a floodplain permit in hopes that we can find the funding we need to be able to proceed with that project here before that expires for the last time. And then our last project with an update is our wastewater treatment plant levy. As you remember, the design amendment was approved at the last meeting, and they've started working on the design, and they've mobilized a geotech crew to come out and do some additional borings that were needed, and so they're working to get that out so we can do that yet this year, at least some of the work yet this year. And that's all I have, unless somebody has questions.
Any questions? Is the project that was submitted to SRF, was that the project that I was copied on email with some additional points required? Or do you recall, Elijah?
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen, or have they asked some questions?
It came as an email. I'll look at it and forward it to you. I would think, I just assumed I would have gotten copied on the same thing you got, but I'll double check what I got. Because one of the points that I recall was having a citizens input, and I thought, with this time, how do we accomplish that when we can't have meetings and such? So,
Gotcha. Yeah. I know some of those things they've indicated can come at a later date.
okay.
I know they've made some special arrangements for that, but yeah, if you would forward that email, sometimes they don't always copy me. They only send it to you.
Oh, okay. Then I'll watch for that in the future.
But they also usually send it to our consultant that's
Okay.
listed,
Okay.
because a lot of communities, they tend to be the kind of the primary contact. I think we're a little unique in some of that. So, so yeah, if you would forward that, I haven't seen that yet, but I will. I'll look at that when I get
Okay.
it and what we do.
I'll take a look at that. I'll track that down in my inbox here.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions or comments of Alicia? If not, thank you. And that takes us to miscellaneous. Does anyone have any other information to be brought before the board today? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. Jess, will you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. We are adjourned, and I will turn it over to Greg for the Stormwater Board.
And thank you. I'd like to call to order the May 12, 2020 Richmond Sanitary District Stormwater Management Board meeting. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes from April 21st of 2020.
President Steens,
Yes,
motion to approve the minutes from April 21st, 2020 as presented.
And I will second the motion.
we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for April 21st, 2020. Jessica, could you please call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next on the agenda is the approval of invoices for check date run April 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2020, totaling $53,269.03. Do I have a motion to approve?
President Steens, I'll make a motion. My motion is to approve invoices from check dates April 17th, 24th, and May 1st of 2020. The significant invoices were to Inland Waters Pollution of $15,119.69 and Cooley Contracting of $37,037.93. The total of all invoices was $53,269.03.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve invoices for check date run April 17th, 20 and 24th, and May 1st of 2020, totaling $53,269.03. Jessica, could you please call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next on the agenda is the project status update.
Yes, I've got one project with an update. It's our 2019 miscellaneous storm sewer project. And all the infrastructure is in. Really, the only thing that's left is a little bit of restoration, final surface asphalt, and a little bit of grading and seeding in just a few areas. So that project's wrapped up, and once that final asphalt's in, we'll be able to really go out and evaluate the progress that we made with that. So the only other thing that I guess I'd mention is regarding our MS4 program. They are and have been talking for several years about moving to a different type of permit. And it's one that would actually have, it'd be more like our permit for our treatment plant. It would actually have some limits to it, which is kind of a complicated thing when it comes to stormwater. But the program will be changing some. I mean, it'll use our existing program and add some things to it, it sounds like. But like I said, they've been talking about this for several years. EPA is making some changes, which means the state's making some changes, and we'll ultimately have to make some changes as well. So a group of us have attended a couple webinars and some training that have talked about that here recently. And so we're still waiting on the final, the final look at what it's going to be and when it's going to be implemented. But it does sound like it's getting closer. And I mean, the goal had been the first of the year, and obviously that didn't happen. So so we'll see. But I just wanted to give you a short update on that. We haven't talked about that for quite a while. So
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? You have one question for me, maybe Jeff can answer. On Reed Parkway, a lot of the ditch has been cleaned out. And I know things kind of came to a halt because of some rain events and the COVID-19 issues. Do you know what the status of finishing that project up, Jeff? You're muted.
You're muted, Jeff.
I will get with Jason, Greg, and see about getting the guys back out there. I hadn't been out there. They were supposed to have it finished up, I thought.
Okay,
But some of the trees I know that was left, they couldn't get to, so they're going to have to hand cut. But I'll get with Jason. I got to call him after this meeting anyway.
okay. I know they've done a lot in the ditch itself, but I don't think they had gotten back into the retention pond yet, the last I saw.
Okay, when they were supposed to, that was my understanding from Jason, but I'll double check on that.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Jessica, could you please call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
we're adjourned.
And Jeff, I'll come down and sign in a little bit.
You guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah,